So today we're going to be tying something I like to call the Subzero Nymph. I like to fish this during the winter time. I really don't like to fish any bigger than a size 16. During the spring and even in the fall months, I do like to fish this in a size 14 or even a 12. And today we're going to be tying this in a size 12. I have a 2.8 millimeter bead on a size 2x long standard nymph or even a streamer hook, and I have 0.015 lead-free wire, 8 to 10 wraps just to stabilize the bead and to get the fly down pretty quickly. I also like to do a tungsten bead, especially in the wintertime, to get it down quickly, especially if there's a lot of rain here in Georgia, but really a brass bead is definitely going to do just as fine. First of all, we're going to be starting with some 70 denier black thread. Just get a nice thread base going. Clip the tag end off. Our first material, excuse me, that we're going to be using is the ring neck pheasant tail in black. Just take some tips off and measure to form a tail. Just the size of the shank of the hook. So on some of the smaller flies, I'll actually use the entire bit of feather fibers. In this case, because it's a larger hook, I'm not going to. Things are just going to be a little more brittle. Next, we're going to be taking some UTC ultra wire in blue, size small. Tie that on the opposite end, or the opposite side of the hook shank. Just kind of smooth all the feather fibers out. Get a nice smooth base. And take that to the back edge of the hook. Take another piece of pheasant tail fibers. I like to cut off the end there. Tips are a little brittle. Thread get all turned around. There we go. And take that to right behind that wire. Oops. There we go. And we're just gonna wrap that right up the shank. I like to go, if you're able to, you can actually go up and tie it off right behind the bead if it's a little smaller. But in this instance, I'm not going to be able to, which is fine. Just tie that off. Snip it off close. And I also like to do a whip finish here because I find that there are occasions the pheasant tail fibers like to come undone. Next, we're going to take our wire that we tied in previously, and we're going to be doing counter wraps. Doesn't have to be perfect. Tie that wire off. helicopter it so it just comes off nice and even. And smooth that out. Now next we're going to be using some blue Steelie ice dub. It's imperative that you use the actual ice dub and not UV, as the ice dub fibers are pretty long and you're just going to need them the most, and I'm not kidding here, the most minuscule of amounts, because a ridiculously tiny amount goes an extremely long way. So I would say about, even I have here about, I don't know, an inch, maybe 2 inches, and that's probably going to be a little too much, but that's okay. Just build a nice thread, or a dubbing thorax behind the bead. Next we're going to be taking some Hungarian Partridge Feather, dyed black. I like to take off the webby fibers, as you can see here, and then I snip just a little bit off the front, make a triangle so like as a tie-in point. Tie that in there ever so carefully. Take our hackle pliers, grab the tip end. Now this is notorious for breaking, just FYI. So I've prepared another one just in case. Once you're happy with that, you can just tie it off. And as you can see, I've made the soft hackle collar pretty sparse. You can make it a little thicker, but I think it'll be okay. Just want to tie that down really good. Do a couple more wraps. Just got to be careful with this 70 denier thread, as it has a pretty low breaking point. But just do a 3-turn whip finish. I like to do 2 of them. Make sure the knots are seated well, and then come in and clip it. And that is going to look great in the water. But that is a Subzero Nymph.